HOA trespassed on my land while armed. Too bad, I'm a retired Navy SEAL with cameras rolling. Have you ever wondered what happens when a power-hungry HOA crosses the wrong homeowner? Picture this, a quiet suburban night shattered by the sound of boots crunching on gravel, flashlights slicing through the darkness, and the unmistakable click of a gun being cocked. That's exactly what happened to Marcus Reed, a retired Navy SEAL, when his neighborhood's HOA decided they could invade his property to enforce their petty rules. They thought they'd catch him off guard. They didn't know he was ready and his cameras were rolling. Marcus had moved to Willow Creek, a gated community in Texas, seeking peace after decades of high-stakes missions. His sprawling ranch-style home sat on the edge of the neighborhood with a large backyard he'd turned into a personal oasis, a vegetable garden, a small pond, and a custom-built pergola that didn't quite match the HOA's approved aesthetic. For months, Karen Whitmore, the HOA president, had been sending him letters about that pergola, claiming it violated community standards. Marcus ignored them. He'd fought for his freedom in war zones. He wasn't about to let a clipboard-wielding bureaucrat dictate his backyard decor. But Karen wasn't one to back down. She had a reputation for ruling Willow Creek like her personal fiefdom, fining residents for untrimmed hedges or unapproved mailbox colors. When Marcus didn't comply, she escalated a big mistake. It was 2 a.m. when Marcus's security system pinged his phone. His years as a SEAL had honed his instincts, and he was awake in seconds, checking the live feed from the 6 high-definition cameras he'd installed around his property. What he saw made his blood run cold. 3 figures dressed in dark jackets with Willow Creek security emblazoned on the back, creeping through his backyard. One carried a flashlight, another a clipboard, and the third, Karen herself, held a handgun, glinting in the moonlight. They were headed straight for his pergola, tools in hand, clearly planning to dismantle it. Marcus's cameras, equipped with night vision and audio, caught every word. "He's asleep," Karen whispered. "Let's get this done before he notices." Marcus smirked. They had no idea who they were dealing with. He didn't rush out guns blazing. Oh, he could have. Instead, Marcus slipped into the shadows of his home, grabbing his phone and a small tactical flashlight. He'd learned in his SEAL days that surprise was a weapon, and he intended to use it. As the trio began prying at the pergola's beams, Marcus activated his outdoor floodlights, bathing the yard in blinding white light. "Drop the tools and the gun, now," he barked, his voice cutting through the night like a blade. The 2 security goons froze, but Karen spun around, her gun wobbling in her unsteady grip. "This is HOA business," she shrieked. "You're in violation, and we have the right to enforce it." Marcus stepped into the light, his 6 feet 2 inches frame imposing, his eyes calm but deadly. "You're on my property, armed without permission. That's not enforcement, that's trespassing." Here's where things took an unexpected turn. One of the goons, a wiry man named Tim, dropped his tools and raised his hands. "I didn't sign up for this," he stammered, backing away. Turns out, Tim wasn't even part of the HOA's official security team. Was Karen's nephew, roped into her crusade because she couldn't find anyone else willing to follow her at 2 a.m. Tim's confession spilled out, caught on Marcus's cameras. Karen had been bullying residents for years, using her security team to intimidate anyone who dared defy her rules. She'd even fabricated violations to extort fines, pocketing a portion for herself. Marcus's pergola was just her latest obsession, a symbol of his refusal to bow to her authority. The confrontation escalated as Karen, red-faced and defiant, refused to lower her gun. "You think you're tough because you were some soldier?" she sneered. Marcus didn't flinch. "Navy SEAL, ma'am. And you're holding that gun like someone who's never fired one." He took a single step forward, his presence radiating control. "Put it down or I'll make you." Karen's bravado cracked. Her hand shook and the gun dropped to the grass. Marcus didn't need to touch her. His training had taught him how to disarm an opponent with words alone. But he wasn't done. He pulled out his phone, already dialing 911, and informed the trio that every second of their trespass was recorded, audio and all. The police arrived within minutes, drawn by Marcus's calm but authoritative call. Karen tried to spin a story about routine HOA inspections, but the footage told a different tale. The cops watched as Marcus played back the video, Karen's gun, her whispered plan to teach him a lesson, and Tim's panicked admission about her schemes. The officers didn't hesitate. Karen was cuffed for trespassing and brandishing a weapon, while her accomplices were detained for questioning. As she was led away, Karen's screams echoed through the quiet neighborhood. "This isn't over, Reed." But Marcus knew it was. He'd already uploaded the footage to a cloud server and sent copies to his lawyer and the local news. The fallout was swift and brutal. By morning, the video had gone viral, shared across social media platforms like wildfire. Neighbors, long silenced by Karen's reign of terror, came forward with their own stories: fines for non-existent violations, threats of liens on their homes, even harassment over children's toys left in yards. The HOA board, desperate to save face, held an emergency meeting and ousted Karen, replacing her with a soft-spoken retiree named Linda, who'd been quietly documenting Karen's abuses for years. Linda's unexpected role as a whistleblower turned the tide, revealing financial records that showed Karen had siphoned thousands from HOA funds. The community rallied, voting to rewrite the bylaws to limit the board's power and protect homeowners' rights. Karen's life unraveled. Facing criminal charges for trespassing, brandishing a firearm, and embezzlement, she lost her job as a real estate agent when her clients saw the viral video. Her family distanced themselves, ashamed of her actions, and her nephew Tim cut a deal with prosecutors to testify against her in exchange for leniency. The once feared HOA tyrant was reduced to a pariah, her name synonymous with overreach and arrogance. Marcus, meanwhile, became a local hero. His pergola stood untouched, a quiet symbol of defiance, and neighbors started dropping by with beers and thank yous, grateful for the man who'd stood up to the neighborhood's dictator. In the end, Marcus didn't just win a battle, sparked a movement. Willow Creek's residents formed a watchdog group to keep the HOA accountable, ensuring no one could abuse power like Karen had. Marcus, ever the tactician, offered to train them in conflict resolution, drawing on his SEAL experience to teach de-escalation and strategy. His message was clear: strength isn't about fighting, it's about standing your ground with principle. As he sat on his porch, sipping coffee under his pergola, Marcus felt the peace he'd sought when he moved to Willow Creek. He'd faced worse enemies than Karen Whitmore, but few had underestimated him so badly. What do you think? Was Marcus right to take a stand, or should he have tried to resolve things with the HOA peacefully? Should homeowners have to fight so hard to protect their own property? Share your thought, because sometimes the smallest battles reveal the biggest truths.